Friends, tonight, we are not just stepping into a castle. We are walking into the stone refrigerator of the Middle Ages. Immediately, you feel its icy claws tighten. The stone wall is not a protection. It is a gigantic sponge that sucks the heat out of every living thing. Your breath doesn't just fog, it condenses into tiny ice shards, shooting right back at your face. The soldier's worst challenge is not the sword, but lying down on this stone floor, without heating, without window glass, and calling it sleep. I guarantee, without these secret survival hacks, you will never see the dawn. The soldier's sleep is not rest. It is an 8-hour war of attrition against slow death. Can a common soldier turn the tide using dirty tricks and sheer desperation? Join Flow of History to uncover this secret of the slashed sleep. The initial shock always comes from the stone. Medieval castles, often romanticized, were in fact brutal cooling machines in winter. You reach out and touch the damp wall, feeling your hand's warmth instantly drained, as if the stone were a living entity drinking your body heat. The arrow slits, the genius of defense, become relentless cold wind funnels, their howling serving as a mocking soundtrack you must endure all night. Scholars debate the severity of the cold, but the soldier knows the truth. It is a bone-eating cold. To counter this architectural treachery, the soldier employs the most basic shell strategy. First comes reeds and straw. The floor is not swept clean. It is covered in a thick layer of rushes, reeds, or hay. This isn't mess. It's bio-insulation between your body and the eternally cold stone. Although the straw layer rustles, smells damp, and breeds vermin, it is the first barrier against death. Next is the wool casing. The soldier layers up, linen close to the skin, followed by multiple woolen tunics and thick cloaks. Wool is king because it retains 70% of its warmth even when wet. In reality, you aren't just wearing clothes to keep warm, you are creating a small tent around your body. Even the poorest soldiers might resort to stuffing moss or dry animal dung into wall cracks and windows to block drafts. Yes, you sleep next to insulation that smells like a stable, but that is the fragrance of life you must accept. Steel, the warrior symbol, is the most treacherous cold element. Your sword blade, spearhead, or helmet, if exposed to bare skin, causes instant frostbite, a feeling like a slice from an ice knife. Your weapon needs to be warmer than your hands. To prevent the freezing of combat gear, soldiers use creative hacks. They rub animal fat talc onto the metal for insulation and rust prevention. At night, they don't discard their weapons. They tuck daggers under their tunics and clamp battle axes between their legs, keeping the metal close to body heat. Some even lined helmets with fox or sheep fur to prevent the metal from stealing heat from their heads. You would never dare leave your weapon far, knowing that if it freezes, you lose both your life and your honor. However, stable heat comes from community. Your sleep is always clumped. You sleep pressed together like sardines in a can, shoulder to shoulder, leg to leg. This is basic survival physics. The more bodies clustered, the less heat escapes. This closeness isn't romantic. It's a fusion of sweat, smoke, and damp straw, but it's the most effective barrier against freezing. A surprising solution to the chill of the Great Hall is indoor camping. Soldiers and nobles alike would pitch tents or fabric-covered frames inside the large halls. These small structures created a warmer microclimate by isolating body heat in a smaller volume of air. You could crawl into a crude canvas tent and immediately feel stillness, separated from the drafts outside. It is ironic that to survive the solid stone fortress, one must build a tiny fortress of fabric. When fire and fabric fail, the soldier turns to the living furnace. Horses and livestock, with their large bodies and high temperatures, become life-saving heat sources. Poor soldiers would sleep in stables, nestled in the dry straw next to the animal's flank. You lie down, feeling the strong heartbeat of the horse against your ear. That warmth seems to penetrate the wool, melting the ice in your bones. The smell of manure and damp straw is a small price to pay for avoiding the amputation of a limb. Similarly, the kitchen is a strategic hotspot where residual heat from ovens and soup pots radiates all night. Soldiers often lurk in the shadows near the ovens, risking the dangers of fire and the wrath of the cook just to buy a few extra hours of warmth. Along with heat, they need internal fuel. They eat petrified, cured meat, pork or beef salted until rock hard, tough as shoe leather, but containing massive calories and salt for internal fuel. They often soak it in warm ale to soften it, accepting the bitter saltiness as the taste of resilience. Drinking warm ale is also a great hack. The mild alcohol content dilates blood vessels, creating a false sense of warmth and enough oblivion for the soldier to fall asleep. Some even heat stones in the fire and wrap them in cloth as crude hot water bottles. But does this self-deception lead to fatal recklessness? Your sleep is slashed by the strict watch rotation cycle. Despite being off-duty, you only get shallow, interrupted rest, your ears constantly straining for the alarm bell. This accumulated fatigue is a primary cause of irritability and brawling in the barracks. Continuous vigilance keeps you alive, but ruins your ability to recover. The concentrated human warmth perfects the environment for disease and parasites. The straw you lie on is an ecosystem teeming with lice, fleas, and bugs. You lie down feeling itchy everywhere, but dare not scratch vigorously for fear of tearing the skin. Constant scratching until bleeding is a nightly reality, yet the soldier accepts this because it is better to have lice than to be killed by the killing cold. The lack of ventilation and the smoke from the hearths cause chronic respiratory issues. You lie down and hear a chorus of hacking coughs. The sound of your comrades coughing fits like stabbing sounds in the air, spreading contagion. Many soldiers suffered from black lung due to inhaling coal and damp wood smoke. The cold doesn't kill you, it weakens you. The lack of ventilation and the smoke from the hearths cause chronic respiratory issues. You lie down and hear a chorus of hacking coughs. The sound of your comrades coughing fits like stabbing sounds in the air, spreading contagion. Many soldiers suffered from black lung due to inhaling coal and damp wood smoke. Furthermore, the castle's sanitation system is torturous. The latrines are merely cold, stone shafts projecting from the wall. Soldiers often have to warm stones or bricks to place on the stone seat before use. Many accept the stench within the barracks rather than face the risk of freezing solid on the latrine seat. All these hacks only buy time. Can your mind endure this relentless torture? When the body and living conditions fail, the soldier turns to the invisible strength of the spirit and faith. Vigilance is not just military discipline, it is a mandatory psychological state. Interrupted sleep keeps your nerves tense, but it also keeps you alive. 1. Faith and charms. In the castle's small chapels, soldiers gather, whispering prayers, not to go to heaven, but to be warm tonight. They pray to St. Martin, who famously shared his cloak, to ward off the cold. Along with this, amulets, relics, or incantations are sewn into cloaks. They believe these objects will trick the frost spirits into staying away. 2. Laughter and song. Laughter is a powerful survival weapon. Soldiers tell crude jokes about officers, sing bawdy ballads, or recount legendary battles. The excitement and physical movement from singing and clapping create a collective communal stove powered by sound. They fight the cold not just with fire, but with joy and defiance. 3. Letters across winter. Connection to the outside world is a spiritual hearth. Despite being illiterate, you hire a comrade to draft a letter home. You describe the cold, the terrible cured meat, and the comrade's hacks. You fold the letter, tucking a piece of dry straw or wool fiber inside as proof. The real warmth comes from the image of your loved one receiving that letter, knowing you are still alive and capable of affection. The letter becomes a soul stove, proof you still belong to a warmer world. While you struggle in the straw, the injustice is glaring. The hierarchy determines the warmth. 1. The featherbed sleep. Nobles and high-ranking officers sleep in private chambers with fireplaces, wood-paneled walls, thick tapestries, and featherbeds stuffed with goose or swan down. They sleep on the luxury of silk and imported fur. This is the sleep of power. 2. The straw pallet sleep. You and your comrades sleep on straw, with lice and smoke as companions. This is the sleep of resilience. This resilience, however, is not infinite. The accumulated exhaustion can break even the bravest soldiers. Yet, this very lack of comfort taught the soldier a valuable lesson. Survival is an art of patching. Every layer of wool, every piece of straw, every warm sip of ale, every prayer, all are small pieces of a larger picture. Can you maintain the will to fight when you know someone is sleeping 10 times warmer than you? And then, after the most stressful hours, dawn appears. The first gray light filters through the arrow slit. You are alive. You pull the frozen wool down from your face, feeling the faint warmth of your comrade beside you. You avoided frostbite, and you did not succumb to illness. You won. The medieval soldier's sleep is a vow that no matter how cruel the castle, the human will to survive will always be stronger than cold stone. You have survived the slashed night of the Middle Ages. They survived not through luxury, but through resilience and primitive hacks, wool, straw, laughter, and communal heat. The soldier's sleep is a declaration. They will not be defeated by the cold stone. Every breath in that night was a victory. If you felt the warmth and admiration for this resilience, please give Flow of History a like and subscribe so we can continue bringing you the most dramatic and authentic historical narratives. Let your curiosity be the fire that lights up history.